So I, realized that I had to take matters into my own hands. So it's not just researching the materials and the fixtures, all the nice, end product finishes that make sure that you've got no VOCs, in your cabinets and your flooring. So it went beyond that. And now I have to realize I have to research all the mechanical pieces, what goes behind the walls. And it was frustrating, but I realized if I didn't do it, I'd be making a huge mistake.
Welcome to Home Green Homes Podcast. I am Izumi Tanaka, a green home advisor and a green realtor. Here I invite a variety of experts in the world of green homes and have conversations about how we can all live in healthy, resilient, and efficient homes. My guests provide insight in a wide range of topics, from designing, building, and living in green homes, purchasing or financing green homes and improvements, to how we can live to reduce the negative environmental impact from the way we live. My goal is to inspire and inform you about how we can make a difference in our own lives and our environment. Hello, this is Izumi Tanaka of Home Green Homes Podcast. Today, I have a friend and colleague, Lisa Colicchio, as my guest. And she actually is a chair of Women in Green Committee at USGBC LA. But today, I am talking to her about her personal experience of decarbonizing her own home. So thank you so much, Lisa, for coming in today. I really appreciate your time. Can you tell me briefly about what you do, because you're in the green build field as I am?
Yeah, sure. I lead sustainability currently with Metrolink, the third largest rail operator in the nation. And I've been in sustainability for about 15 plus years now. So, helping companies green up their real estate, but also to putting in climate action plans and doing everything we can to reduce our emissions in every aspect. So I felt it was important that I do the same. I have to, walk the talk.
Right.
And that's why I'm excited to talk to you today about my decarbonization journey.
Yes. So this is your own home that you decarbonize successfully, I might add. Tell me about the decision-making process. Well, you already told me why, but when did you start the process, and what was the decision-making process look like? Because we still have some obstacles to do this.
Yeah. It started about a couple of years ago, and my husband and I, we've been in our home 20 years now, and we were, should we, sell and, look to buy a new home. And we'd been looking for quite some time, and we realized that it was just better if we could just upgrade our existing home and make it more what we want, and got rid of all the negative things we didn't like about the house and make it our dream home. So we set about that a journey, and with that was, a gut of our existing house and also an addition. And with that, I knew that I'd be replacing every single appliance in the house. So I took this as an opportunity to decarbonize, right? Let's get off of gas, get rid of the methane, and, really electrify and make that switch. So, first of all, you start with the architect and you're working on your design plans and the layout. And then when you get down to appliances and then also having to talk with contractors, it was a rude awakening, because I kept telling them, yeah, I want to go all electric. And, they were trying to, steer me in the other direction. Why would you want to do that? It's not efficient. And, gas is just great, just use it. And I was determined, right? So luckily I didn't allow them to stop me. It was even at one point looking at hot water heaters. And I wanted to go electric, but also tankless. And it was one day I was interviewing a plumber, and he told me they don't even exist. You can't buy one. If it's tankless, it has to be gas. I'm like, no, you don't get it. I want to get off gas. So I, realized that I had to take matters into my own hands. So it's not just researching the materials and the fixtures, all the nice, end product finishes that make sure that you've got no VOCs, in your cabinets and your flooring. So it went beyond that. And now I have to realize I have to research all the mechanical pieces, what goes behind the walls. And it was frustrating, but I realized if I didn't do it, I'd be making a huge mistake.
Right. I mean, this is the perfect timing if you were to do something like that when you are remodeling your home. And if you don't do it now, it's going to be 20 years before we get to it again, right? Yeah. So what did you do in terms of actually doing that research yourself? I mean, I know you're pretty knowledgeable, but what did it take?
Yeah, I wasn't knowledgeable about appliances and everything like that either, because I'd been on gas my whole life. That's all I knew. And even in a commercial world, I've never really had to, investigate and research products behind the wall, right? I was always able to, look to contractors. So I just opened up the internet and started searching, right? And I didn't even know who to call, because like I said, all these contractors are telling me different, especially in the residential, contractors are less progressive, I think, for the most part. Commercial, it's been at the forefront for a long time, and, Energy Star and energy efficiency has been out there for a long time. So commercial contractors, I think, are more on board, but certainly not in the residential sector. So I just, started searching. And every product. And, I was able to find a product on an electric tankless water heater, and it was made from Germany, and from the 1930s. So it is possible, right? These products are available. And it turned out what was exciting is that the electric tankless water heater is half the cost of the tankless gas water heater. I just did a search on the internet, and I kept, looking for sites that offered those models, and then looking to experts like Bob Vila and others that were doing, they do all kinds of product reviews. And so I looked to those and chats, right? When people and contractors that have taken that on, and I looked at YouTube videos of people that have installed it. So I went through many different avenues to get this information, but it was all online. And it's available out there. You just kind of have to be diligent and put the time in. But at the end of the day, my time was money, because I was able to save money on some of these products.
So you did find an electric tankless water heater.
Yes.
And did you say that was a German made?
Yeah, Stiebel Eltron is the brand that I ended up selecting for myself. But I mean, it's available on Amazon, on Home Depot, and there's a bunch of different places that offer that product here in the States.
That's great. So it's not something you necessarily imported from Germany yourself, but they are available in the American.
There's a lot of distributors. Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. And so what else have you tried? So you got the electric water heater, tankless.
Yeah, I think really, the other big thing where people spend a lot of money on, as far as their home energy use, and it was, gas, is your HVAC.
Right.
Your heating. And so I think it's your water heater as well as your HVAC are the two biggest appliances that would be important to switch out. And so in working with my HVAC contractor, he was all on board. I did talk to my first one that I interviewed. He was not on board with doing all electric HVAC, and he's like, it's not going to be efficient. It's going to be very cold, and in the cold days you won't get proper heating. And, we're in California. How many, freezing days do we have, right? So we're very lucky. What we need is, very efficient, cooling during the summer. We'll use that more often, but yeah, so I have a package unit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell me, this is not mini split.
No, it's
not. Tell me about
split.
the package you
so it's a package unit in that it does both heating and cooling. And they come, in various tons, the 2 ton, up to all the way up to 5 ton, that is standard for residential. And what happens is you can either go cooling with, electric for cooling and gas for heat, or they have the very same model that is all electric. So what that happens is it's taking outside air and it's bringing it, the fan goes in reverse in the heating mode, and
Mhm.
it warms that air and then brings it into the home. So it's much more efficient. I've used it for a couple months now and during our, the colder months that it was installed so far. And I haven't noticed a big increase in my electricity use. So that's good.
Yeah.
And, and I have no gas now. So I'm very happy with it and I
Mhm.
highly recommend it. And the units don't cost a dime more. It's the same price.
That's the really key information, because a lot of people think that whatever we do to electrify or to quote unquote green our homes is going to cost us more money. How about the kitchen stove? I know this is a really
Yeah, I love to cook, and I've always cooked with gas.
Mhm.
But I think as we all keep reading these articles the last few years, and even recently, they're saying that even though your gas stove is completely turned off, you're not using it, it is leaking emissions, methane emissions, just
Mhm.
by the very nature that it's been installed. So that was very important to me, and I did a lot of research.
Mhm.
Because obviously you can have an electric stove, and I remember I've used electric stove many years ago, and they aren't great with those coils, but they've come a long way. And I went to an appliance store
Mhm.
and looked at a lot of different models, but mostly I was honing in on induction. There's a lot in the news lately about electric induction, and I have a cooktop.
Mhm.
So even chefs are touting. You can find articles online and even videos. A lot of chefs now are moving to induction because it's so quick. So what I did is I went to Wolf. I'm like, well, if I'm going to go look at something, I'm going to look at a high-end brand and see what it looks like and experience it. So I went to the showroom and I had a demonstration at the Wolf showroom, and the gentleman there, one of the chefs, he took a big giant pot of boiling water, and he put it on the induction. There's a boost mode. So just like Tesla, right,
Uh-huh.
has a boost mode, so does the induction. In 90 seconds, it was a rolling boil. That's
Wow.
amazing. And here's the other part. I love to do desserts and chocolates and stuff like that. So tempering chocolate, for those of you who like
Yeah.
to cook in our patisserie chefs,
Yeah.
it has a mode where it's very low. And they had a pan of chocolate that was melted and it was tempered, and it stayed at that tempered mode all day long.
Wow.
Exactly. So you don't need a double boiler. You can actually temper it just in the pot, no special equipment. So I'm like, I was sold. So yeah, I haven't used it yet, only because it's getting installed in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I'm near the tail end, but I can't wait. So I don't have any regrets at this point
Mhm.
of getting
Mhm.
off gas.
I know. How about your clothes dryer? Do you have
Yeah, yeah. So that's all electric as well.
Mhm.
And again, there was no price difference, whether they have the nice Electrolux or LG units,
Mhm.
and or Samsung, all of
Mhm.
those units come electric or gas, and it's
Mhm.
just you make the decision, and there is no price difference.
Right. So did you utilize any incentive programs that are out there? There
I'm
are many.
Yeah, there are many. I mean, I'm going with my utility provider's LADWP. So I've got my receipts. I haven't started the process of going through those rebates.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there are no rebates for electric tankless water heater.
Interesting.
Um, I know, but certainly the gas company is offering if you go tankless gas.
Mhm.
But because already the unit I paid for was half the price, it doesn't bother me to not get a rebate on that. But yes, I'm gathering all the information, as well as we replaced windows. And so there's a lot of other efficiency things and insulation,
Mhm.
so again, utility providers are doing a great job at offering lots of rebates and incentives
Mhm.
that help, defray some of the costs.
Was it easy for you to navigate to obtain that information? Like what types of incentives are available? Sometimes it's really hard to find that exact information that you're looking for.
Yeah, I went on the site and there's a lot of information. It was a bit overwhelming, but I also picked up the phone and called customer service. And so I really think it's best, I know sometimes we just like to get the information ourselves, but you really do need to talk to people and talk to the experts at the utility company, because maybe there's something available you don't know about or that's coming. And so it really is best to talk to a customer service rep at your utility provider.
So, and then my other question is, have you utilized any of the financing programs that are available specifically designed for homeowners to improve their energy efficiency or electrifying? Have you noticed anything like that?
I didn't use any incentives only because, I had built the expense into my remodel project. But with this project, I did have to upgrade my electric panel, right? Because now I was a 100 amp, now I'm at 200 amp, so that I can accommodate. And also by code now, you have to be EV ready. So I'll be ready when I make that transition. My end goal, right now that I got rid of a gas bill, my end goal is to do solar so that I can then get rid of an electric bill. But it was just too much and too daunting to take on with this whole construction project. So I am getting solar ready. And so with that, I will definitely see what other incentive programs or financing are available to help me offset some of that cost. But yeah, I'm thinking for the future, and I just want less bills. And if these programs and appliances are available that will allow you to reduce your utility cost, I mean, it just makes sense to do it.
So with all the electrification of your home so far, but I know you're not using your induction stove yet. How's the bill coming out to be? Have you seen any difference?
I haven't seen a huge difference yet. I think we'll see what happens during the summer months, right? Because the rates are a lot higher. I'm also going to be exploring a time of use rate code. So I'll be talking with my LADWP rep about that. But another key thing too is when I was going through the construction process, my home is from the 60s. And when we opened up some of the walls, there was no insulation. There's in the ceiling, yes, but not in the walls. And so, and now that I'm doing that, I'm putting insulation in behind those walls so that should even make my home even more efficient. So the other big recommendation I have is that many utilities will come out and do an energy audit for you. And it's typically free. And I highly recommend people do that so that you can identify some of these low cost measures that you can take to improve your efficiency before even undertaking these larger capital expenses.
Yes, that's always my very first recommendations for homeowners, even before you put the solar panels, to get the energy audit done. So did LADWP offer that energy audit?
They do offer that. I didn't take them up on it only because I'm doing all this already. I'm replacing everything, replacing my windows and putting in insulation. So I kind of already had that knowledge by being kind of on the inside. But yes, I do recommend for most homeowners, go get the audit.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't actually, I knew that some municipalities around the countries are now requiring energy audit, and they do offer that for free for homeowners. So that's something that's definitely worthwhile checking into, because I think it's the very first step for anybody who's doing anything to their homes, especially if the home is older than newer, right?
Yeah.
To have the energy auditor come and check it out. So what did you find most challenging in this process?
Finding contractors. Oh my God, who don't want to just, charge you an arm and a leg and rip you off. It's very hard. It's very hard. I think that is the most challenging part. And what we end up relying on is just kind of word of mouth, like people we knew. So we went to our architect and, hey, do you know a so-and-so contractor? It's all about, you could use Yelp, but you got to take that with a grain of salt. It's very difficult, I think, to find reputable, trustworthy contractors, especially in residential.
And who's knowledgeable and skilled.
Yeah, and not going to steer you in a different direction or oversell you on something. So, but again, that really comes down to the homeowner. You can't just check out. You have to really be diligent. You have to do your homework, and you have to, unfortunately, you have to be just as knowledgeable, using the tools on the internet. It's all there and available, by being just as knowledgeable as your contractor, so that you can have an intelligent conversation and ask the right questions. And do a lot of preparation in advance.
Yeah, I know. That's the most challenging part. I keep hearing that finding the right contractors to do the job that we want them to do. So, you and I have been in this world for some time together. Do you see, like, as you said, you were in the commercial real estate industry before, and as I see that in the commercial real estate field, there's more green building practice being, implemented. And what do you see in, from your standpoint as a homeowner, in implementing the green building practice in the residential, and mostly like most smaller single family residential or smaller, duplex, triplex, that level? Do you see any movement?
I think it's slow. I mean, although when I drive around my neighborhood, I think the biggest thing that people have done is install solar panels.
Yeah.
Luckily there's been a lot of incentives, a lot of marketing and promotions. So I think that's been the biggest jump that people have made so far, is solar. But really, there's so many more things that we could be doing at our home. And like you said, even the basics of being more efficient. So I do wish there was more information available, and that more references available so I'm not sure what's the best way. And I think even if real estate agents were more knowledgeable, I think a good majority of them, I know very successful real estate agents, but I don't know, a lot of them aren't really invested in and knowledgeable around green building, because I don't think that the trades and the green building organizations have done a real good job of engaging on the residential level, right? And I think they tackled commercial first, but now it's very important that we engage, our residential agents as well, and that professional community.
I agree. And as you know, USGBCLA is launching green home committees, and all the things that you just mentioned will be addressed to really educate and disseminate the information for the real estate professionals and contractors and builders and homeowners out there to really think twice about it when you're doing something new to your home, like even if it's just one thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How can you make it that one green thing?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And so what is your next step? Once you get your induction stove installed, you're going to start cooking.
And then also, trying to share the information about how important it is. And it really is not difficult, because the equipment is available. There are contractors available. It's that you have to have the knowledge. And so you have to be curious to go find it, but it is there. And so whatever I can do to help educate people that, decarbonization is not something to be scared of. You certainly should take it on. And in the end, we will all benefit. Your bottom line will benefit, but so will our planet and the health of our communities.
Exactly. So once you have your solar panels installed, how long would it make from the time that you decided to do your remodel till you finish and have your hopefully become net zero, or positive zero, a positive energy?
Well, hopefully, I hear these stories about how long it will take with the permitting process and the utility, but I'm not gonna let that sway me. It will probably take another 18 months. So I would say, a good, 2.5 years.
Yeah. And would you say that would be worthwhile for you?
Absolutely. To then be utility free, and not to have a utility bill, but also knowing what I'm doing, that fully decarbonizing and using the rays of the sun to power my home. I mean, that's pretty powerful.
Yes, it's indeed powerful, and you and I have to keep doing all the things that we're doing to have everybody get on the
Right.
board.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
when you think about it, people really gravitate towards recycling. And I think it's just because it's been around since the 70s. So people just feel so, committed and connected to, oh, I recycled that, plastic bottle.
Yeah.
But, okay, but that's a small, tiny drop compared to actually decarbonizing and taking that step, or putting solar panels. Those are much larger, proactive measures we can take to reduce emissions.
Yeah.
Recycling is a tiny drop in a bucket. So it's time to step it up a notch.
Exactly. I agree with you completely, 100%. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for your time. And I am excited to share this with everybody else, because I was just talking to somebody else who was trying to replace all her appliances. So hopefully this would help a lot of people.
Yes, I'm happy to answer any other questions, and I
Yes.
really enjoyed the time with you today, Izumi.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So this was Izumi Tanaka with Home Green Homes. Until my next episode.
Bye-bye.